Hey everybody, welcome to another Photoshop tutorial. This time I wanted to talk about Photoshop shapes, and custom shapes in particular. Shapes in Photoshop are a useful way of throwing a vector shape out on your canvas in Photoshop. Now, this is something that's really important to know is that these tools are vector tools. I'm going to start with the rectangle tool because that's obviously the first one and the most common to use here. You select your tool. Up top, you've got your options for your tool. This is a really useful tool in general, the shape tool for web design mockups and things of that nature, especially since these shapes retain their vector properties, and you can upon export if you need to. Just quick stuff though. Up top, you've got the fill color. So I'm going to go ahead and set a different fill color so we can see that. Stroke color, stroke size, the type of stroke. You've got just other miscellaneous options, alignment options. This right here, though, is something I wanted to show right out of the gate. Rounded corners. So I'm going to go ahead and increase this a little bit to a 20 pixel rounding here and draw out the shape just to show you. This is how you get those rounded corner style gel buttons that you can just do for the web. Is you just pop out a rounded corner shape. There we go. Whenever you draw a shape, the shape palette comes open, the properties palette for the shape comes open as well, so you can pick if like the stroke's a little heavy on this, so I can dial that down if I wanted to, change the different properties of it while it's sitting here. That's the rectangle tool, obviously. Just for the sake of sanity, the ellipse tool is the same as that triangle tool. Polygon tool, you can pick, the only difference with this is you can pick how many sides you have on the polygon. If I wanted, something a little more octagonal, I could go through and draw that out if I wanted to. In my opinion, line tool for drawing, horizontal and vertical rules, lines, breaks, that kind of thing. Useful stuff. But the custom shape tool, I wanted to show something a little more in depth with that. Let me go ahead and go to my layers palette here and get rid of these two shapes. Also, notice something unique to the shape palette. Since these are vector pieces, different than Illustrator, every time you draw a shape in Photoshop, it creates a new layer for it and names it, which is actually pretty handy. I'm going to go ahead and select these and delete them. So the custom shape tool, in my opinion, is the most useful out of the lot. What you want to do for this tool is you select it and then you go up top here and drop down the shape properties. Now, there's a little gear icon over here that allows you to do some stuff right out of the gate. By default, you've got some shapes in here, custom shapes that you can draw out. But what I would do right out of the gate is go ahead and just do append default shapes and click OK on that. And this will give you a huge list of all the shapes that are in Photoshop. And if you notice, you can fly this menu out a little further. There's quite a few things in here. So there's all kinds of different shapes that you can look at. Let's say like boats. I could do this little submarine here. Maybe I'll change that to yellow and do the classic yellow submarine here. Click and drag. There we go. That's a custom shape. Now, obviously, this is the style of the drawing is determined by the properties. I could turn that stroke down or up a little bit to kind of suit the illustration style. Now, not only are there a bunch of default custom shapes inside Photoshop, you can download custom shapes. That's the whole point of this. Let me go ahead and get rid of this submarine. So what you can do is you could go to a website like Shapes for Free, or one of the ones that I like is brusheezy.com. There's a lot of good Photoshop custom shapes. You can search Photoshop custom shapes at brusheezy.com. What you'll do is you'll download, in this case I downloaded an e-commerce shopping and online shopping shape pack. So if I were doing a web mockup of some sort, I could go through, I could download this file. The file that it gives you, what you're going to do is you're going to go back into Photoshop, you're going to go to your custom shape tool, go to your palette, click on the little gear icon, and click Import Shapes. This is going to give you an import option. I'm going to look through the downloads here, and I'm going to go to the shape that I downloaded, a CSH file, custom shape file. Open that up, and what this does is load those custom shapes into your palette down here on the bottom. So now, if I wanted to, say, make this a button for e-commerce, I could pick the kind of cart that I liked, say the standard one, pick my color, stroke on or off, that type of thing. Same thing as I was saying before. get your property set, and then maybe zoom out a little bit, and I could draw out this cart icon, and then save this button out. And this is the trick. This is how I do a lot of the, obviously that's off center, so I'd want to fix that, would be the idea. You get the point. This is how I do a lot of the designing for mock-ups for the web and things of that nature. Anytime you need something that's an icon of some sort, it's a good idea to see if there's some preset icons in here already, because they're vector and they are easy to work with for mock-ups and things of that nature. These types of things can be copied and pasted into Illustrator, and they retain their vector principles. You can see it's a vector shape too. You can augment this if you wanted to with your direct selection tool. Because it's a vector piece, you can grab these pieces like as you would in Illustrator and modify these points on this line. The versatility of this, which is pretty wonderful. So there you go. That's Photoshop Custom Shapes, the shape tool. Hopefully you can use those and save yourself some time and some efficiency. Have a good one.